So it's not often I get this excited about a custom that I'm working on, but today I got a really cool bladeless Swiss Army knife that I've designed for another fellow maker who's likes to do a lot of sewing. So this is a sewing specific multi-tool. I don't think it's complete in that I think there's other implements that could be added down the line for people, but I have to say that I really enjoy this one. So if you are interested in what I've done to this, and there's some pretty unique features that no one has ever tried before, stay tuned. Let's take a look. Okay, so let's take a look, shall we? So this is a 3-layer knife. Starting with one of the most unusual of the three is the scaler, which I've modified. Now this of course has measurements, which in and of itself is quite useful, but on top of that, on the very end, oops, I'm trying to see if I can get some focus, what I have is a actual seam ripper. Now the only problem with this is that it does create kind of a pointy edge. You could still get it out, it's not a problem, but you just want to be aware that it could catch on things. That's really it. We have a scissor, of course, always a useful tool, always something that you want to have available. But the other things that we've done is, instead of a blade layer, we've put the opener layer in reverse. So what we have here is we have a can opener that's been modified into a combo tool. This is a very simple modification. All you have to do is grind this down flat to a certain distance, and then it will then open. But instead of opening the way it was, where you would go forward, you have to move it backwards, kind of like you would a Leatherman. Still works great for a can opener. It's not quite as good as the original, but more than enough to be able to get all the functions in one. And I've left it at the small flat, and that can be modified down to any sized flathead, depending on what you want, anything up to the width, of course, of that. Then on the other side, was the bottle opener, and what I've actually never tried this before, and I'm surprised I've never seen it before, is the bottle opener has been turned into a very pointy, like marlin spike, if you will. So what we'll be doing with this is using it to get into stitches, pulling them loose without ripping them. So it's rounded around the edges, so it's not sharp only at that point. So pointy tools, always useful. On the back, of course, we have the hook, which is not, overly useful. It's pretty much the only thing that comes behind the scissor. And of course, we have the corkscrew, which is surprisingly useful for pulling out knots and a lot of other tasks that you may be surprised, as well as holding a small flathead. And there's other implements that Victorinox has come out with that will work for that as well. But here's my favorite part. So of course, we have tweezers on this side. We have the pen. But now you see I have a second tweezer. Well, what's that for? It's not actually a tweezer. Check this out. My favorite thing so far. You know what that is? That's a threader. So what I did is I just took a cheapo threader, broke it apart, took the wire out, and just glued it in. So now I have a threader in there that can come out when needed to help with tasks where you gotta thread that needle, but you don't want to put a lot of effort into the whole thing. Threaders are great when you need them, at least according to my wife, who does all the sewing, and I trust her on this. So that's it, really. I'm pretty happy with it. It came out exactly as I wanted to, and I think this is kind of a neat thing. Maybe this will give somebody ideas who likes to do modifications to expand their possibilities. Definitely the awl is kind of neat. Using the opener layer for the same layer as the knife is interesting. You just have to open it from the reverse side. It's not a big deal. All of these things are kind of pieces to a puzzle, depending on what you're looking to make. Also really love the color. So thank you for the opportunity. This is, of course, is my friend Sylvia from EDC Pockets. She made this organizer along with some other things that I have. Awesome stuff, very colorful. It's one of my favorite things about her work. But definitely check her out. I'll put a link to her Instagram page in the description. But this will be going to her, and it's going to be, I hope, very useful. And yeah, maybe this will get so many ideas to try this as well. Have a good one, guys.